Hello, everyone. I am here with PLM Guru, Mr. Radhakrishna Mukur, and we are here to learn from him a lot about PLM. Can you please give us a brief about yourself and your experience?
Okay, I have around 35 years of experience, 20 years of experience in PLM and around 15 years of experience in manufacturing industry, primarily 15 years in L&T. So I've seen the manufacturing, almost all aspects of manufacturing, design, production, purchase, quality, field service and everything. Uh, After working there for 15 years, in year 2000, I shifted to PLM field. So I started my career with the Metaphase, then Team Center Engineering, then Team Center Enterprise, and now it is Team Center Unified. So from 2000 to 2020, I am in Team Center PLM area. I have implemented Team Center solutions to many customers across the globe. It's in US, Europe, China, Singapore, India, Japan, like that.
Did
Almost
you
all.
miss something? So, Radhakrishna, I actually, I'll start with a little basic here and want to, if you could just tell what is PLM, PDM all about and what purpose does it serve in any industry?
PLM or a PDM, it started as a PDM, product data management. If you break it, PDM is product data management. Let us slightly go behind and see what exactly you mean by product. Any industry which manufactures a product or any services industry, they deliver the services. So their end product is a product, you can say, the end deliverables to the customer. It could be a product for the manufacturing industry, it could be a service for a service industry or a banking or something. Again, it's some sort of service. So the data pertaining to this product. So what are the different data you get? So you get, okay, let us take an automobile industry. So the final product is an automobile. So to make this automobile, you require so many assemblies, sub-assemblies, parts like that. Then you also require so many uh, systems, subsystems, engine, air condition system, entertainment systems like this, which you may buy from somebody. And you also have the data about the documents. What are the different documents, like a design document, test reports, approvals, like that. So these are all the different types of data about the product. Like it also includes the process data, or it also includes, say, people data, who has worked on that, what is the skill level required, and the machines, plants, like this. So if you see the data part, it's a vast ocean. There's so much of data about the product. And see, and okay, now you got an idea about what is the product data. The management, if you see the word management, uh, it's a system. Management, I can say it's a system which will take care or which will enable people to conceptualize, create, update, store, transport, or delete the product. That means the complete aspect of management of the product involves from the conceptualization till it obsoleted. So all the things you do with the product data, you manage it with the system. So the PLM or PDM, for example, PDM is a system for managing the data about the product. So PDM doesn't create any data. It just manages the data which is created elsewhere in other applications. Now, coming from PDM, PDM slowly got matured into PLM. That means you don't just talk about storing of the data or the managing the data, static data. You make it slightly more dynamic now. Dynamic means like you just say this data or this engine drawing, you have got it. So engine drawing is a data. Now making it dynamic means when, who created it, when it was created, when it was approved, was there any error, what was the feedback given on that, what are the corrections happened on that, all those things you capture it. That becomes a life cycle of that. And also the changes, the change management process is included now. When you say product lifecycle management, that means for each and every change you carry out on the product data, you capture it as a part of the life cycle. So the PDM slowly became PLM, product lifecycle management. Okay, this is about the history of this terminology. But otherwise, you can say PDM or PLM is a tool which manages the data created in other products or elsewhere, and it is only a management tool. It is not a creation tool. Okay, and in fact, I have another terminology called PKM, Product Knowledge Management, which I feel is a better terminology than PLM. The reason is product lifecycle management, people say it comes into picture from the moment you conceptualize a product till it becomes obsoleted. When you say product knowledge management, I'm not limiting it there. There is no beginning or end, because even after product obsolescence, you do not destroy that knowledge or the data. You still keep managing it, because you may use that as a base for the new knowledge creation. So it is a better terminology that way is product knowledge management, because all your intellectual property knowledge is captured in this tool.
Okay, this looks like a very good learning session for me also. Who people from which domain or students from which domain can build their career into PLM? And I have few other questions too, but I just want to take this one first.
Yeah, you can say that people from almost any domain can get into PLM. It is not just limited to manufacturing. Even it could be a software industry or a medical industry or a discrete manufacturing industry. It could be anywhere, wherever the
Okay.
data is involved. And they could be mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, electronics engineers, or civil engineers. Even in the civil applications also, we can manage, uh, we can apply PLM even to the civil engineering areas. So it is not limited to particular field. Wherever there's a product involved, you can apply PLM.
So you really have to be an engineer for being in PLM?
Absolutely no, you need not be an engineer, but it's preferable you have some domain knowledge about the business. Suppose you are applying PLM to a mechanical industry, you should have some idea about manufacturing. If you are applying it to civil industry, then you should know something about the civil engineering aspect. You need not know complete civil engineering as an engineer, but you should know that business to some extent.
Okay. So I have a particular question from one of the group member who has posted. Her name is Drashti, and she has asked like, what is in there for the computer science people? And because when we work together, also we saw that initially they struggle, and what kind of things they can do. What computer science people can do in the PLM industry.
But after one or two projects, what you understand is coding is a very small part of the whole challenge. You go to an industry, understand their business process, and say how to map the existing products or Teamcenter or Windshield or Innovia PLM products, how to map the functionality available in this product to their business needs. That is the first thing you have to do it. When those functionality cannot be matched one to one, you may have to do some configuration and customization. And that time the customization comes into picture. That time computer science people they are very much useful. Apart from that, the whole solution itself is an IT solution. So computer science, whatever they have learned in their colleges and subsequently in different industries, their knowledge is definitely useful, because the whole solution itself is an IT solution to a manufacturing problem.
And what are the different PLMs that are available in market right now?
The three leading PLMs are Teamcenter from Siemens and Windshield from Parametric Technology Corporation or PTC, and Innovia from Dassault System. And in the market, there are more than hundreds PLM, and many of them are freewares also. Like ARAS is one software which is picking up, which is built completely on Microsoft platform, and It is free of cost. So similarly, there are many other things are available, but I have seen in industry, these three products, Teamcenter, Innovia, and Windshield, are driving the whole industry, I can say.
So, where do you see, from the current state where PLM is right now, if I like, we have to talk about maybe 5 years, 10 years down the line, as a lot of digitization is coming, and almost everything is getting digitized because we saw that more with the pandemic coming in. Most of the things got digitized. So, where do you see PLM like 5 years or 10 years, I would say, down the line, or maybe a little more?
Okay, in the long run, PLM is going to be part of each and every industry, except very small, say 2-3 people industry. Except that, I'm saying any medium-sized industry and big industry, every industry must have a PLM. Today's PLM is not able to meet many of the requirements of the industry. That the primary reason is, if I have to give a example of say ERP or any other things, the ERP talks about the transaction, money transaction, people transaction, and other things. To a large extent, there is a well laid down standards about the financial transactions or the some major systems, and ERP attacks those things, and there is not much of divergence from one company to another company when compared to the design management process. How the design department is managed in this company, or the design data release or change management is handled in one company, varies drastically from one company to another company. So the today's products, or today's the PLM products, you just can't go and install and say start using it tomorrow. You have to configure it or customize it. So that way, these product vendors are not able to meet the customer's requirements in a proper way or in 100% as per the requirement. For example, if you take the options, or to manage the different options and variants for the automobile industry, every PLM product has got options and variants module, but none of them meet the needs of the automobile industry or aerospace industry. I think none of the PLM vendors are able to meet the complexities required to this of the aerospace industry for options and variants. See, that way, these products need to grow a lot. That's one thing. Second, to a large extent in the industry today, we lack properly trained PLM consultants, I can say. Properly trained means, why I'm using not because they're fault or anything. Many times you come fresh from college and start working on PLM. I always prefer you should have at least 5 years or more experience in manufacturing industry, then come to PLM field, so that once you have got a good grasp of that business, then you'll be able to apply this IT solution for that business problem. When you do not have the business domain knowledge, it is difficult to go as a consultant, say, oh, I have an IT solution for your problem, when you are not even involved in that problem, right? So I feel to that extent, the people skill level or the consultant skill level has to be improved, and product also has to be matured. This is a long process. Even product vendors also do not know what is that feature. If I give it, it's going to be a hit. So they also do not know. It's going to be a long journey, and we are maybe in the first quarter of the whole journey, I can say. So in the long journey, the things, everything is going to become configurable, and it be easy to use. And many of the things, the end user himself will be able to configure and or do some minor adjustments and use the product. Today, for everything, he has to come to a service provider, and that dependency will come down. So the PLM journey to that extent is a very long journey, and we are just in the beginning.
So I think there has been also a misconception for a lot of people, and I think you rightly touched that when you are going to be in the PLM industry, you should spend some time where the actual problems are and the actual problems are to be solved, and otherwise you won't be able to kind of do justice to it or make sense to the people whom you're giving the solution. So, but one question, because you said you initially spent like 15 years in the manufacturing industry, I just wanted to ask how difficult it was to make that switch from manufacturing to PLM, or how easy that was.
When I switched from manufacturing to IT industry, I came with a lot of inferiority complex. I said, okay, I am getting into an IT industry. People will be veterans in coding and other things. I hardly know about coding. So I started learning coding. Okay, I had some interest towards coding, but I brushed up my skill and did a lot of programming. But when I came here, okay, IT industry has got a lot of programmers, but PLM doesn't need all those things. PLM, you for customization, what you do is say 100, 200 lines of code. If you do it, it is sufficient for as a beginner. Later on, you can develop it. It's sufficient as a beginner because most of the time PLM products come out with standard solutions, and wherever it doesn't meet the customer's requirement, you have to do some small plugins here and there to make it usable by the customer. Otherwise, I can say that 80% of the customer's requirements can be met without any customization.
Okay.
In most of the cases.
Yeah. So that's a good, really good thing that you shared. Okay. I'm feeling that I'm becoming more knowledgeable in PLM today. I should have spent more time with you earlier. Anything you want to add on, or otherwise I'll close the session here.
Okay, as a career point of view, for a not only for computer science engineer, like if you take the whole PLM field, in the top level there will be some sort of consultants who will go and do a consultancy for the business. These consultants will understand the customer's problem and they will recommend, okay, the PLM solutions, or they will say this is an investment you have to do in the PLM. This is the return on investment you are going to get in next say 3 or 5 years, like that. That is one type of consultancy, return on investment. Another type of consultancy may be to help the customer which PLM product he has to buy. There are so many of them in the market which he has to buy. So based on his requirement, which PLM product is very strong to address his requirement, you have to see and give a consultancy on that. Another type of consultancy may be the defining the roadmap for implementation. Do you implement everything in one shot as a big bang, or implement something in phases and go ahead? So these are the one type of consultancy. They are in the top level. Once these people do the consultancy, like a consultant, then it will come to maybe a senior consultant who will convert the specific requirement of the customer or map this requirement to a feature in the product. So that mapping has to be done. This will be the role of a senior consultant. Then comes a junior consultant where he will implement that mapped role. Like there is a number, imagine there's an automatic numbering system to be generated. So senior consultant will say customer needs automatic numbering requirement like this. Then the junior consultant will develop it, either configure it or customize it and do that. So these are the three types of consultants you require. Apart from that, you require a migration consultant. Many times migration product, or sometimes at least migration product, can be much bigger than the implementation project, depending on the amount of the legacy data they have. So migration consultant you require it, and then you also have an interface consultant, because PLM has to talk to other software, like it can be ERP software or SCM software or many other homegrown software. It could be Outlook also. You have to configure it. So, and you require testers, developers. Then you require, what we lack today is trainers. Outside, if you go to the market, you will find that there are a lot of ERP training centers or C, Java, CAD solutions like this, but you do not find many PLM training centers. So you require some training infrastructure to be developed in the country, where you develop a pool of trained PLM people.
Is it just in the country or around the globe?
It's around the globe. Yeah, it's around the globe. You do not get trained PLM consultant. And many times knowledge of this consultant also, it is not transferred to the organization. Consultant gain knowledge, he'll stay in the organization, say 5 years, he'll move on and you can say at least 50 to 60% of knowledge what he has gained has gone with him. Organization, it doesn't percolate down the organization. We do not have a proper knowledge management system within the organization or the service providers. Many times because too much of concentration on the revenue generation has resulted in momentary reactive approach. You can say that
Understand
as a
that part.
project manager,
Yeah.
as a project manager who wants to manage that project, he doesn't really care or he doesn't have enough bandwidth to keep this knowledge for the future use, or probably his performance is not measured in that aspect. So his job is to manage the project, and above him they're all revenue managers, I can say. They just concentrate on the revenue. Now who is really there to manage this knowledge? Probably in the organization, that's one missing area, I feel. So if you properly manage that knowledge, you can mature as a company a lot. Today we are learning, say, zero to matriculation. Somebody is graduating and that fellow has left. Again, another fellow joins a company. Again, he does the matriculation, he leaves. Nobody does the graduation here. And 10 times you do the matriculation, you will not become a graduate, right?
True. Yeah,
What is
it's a very good
basic
example. Yeah. Okay.
that maybe I think industries has to concentrate that how to retain this knowledge, how to reuse this knowledge so that you can give a better solution for the next customer.
No, that's some probably message for the industry people, right? Thank you. Thank you, Radhakrishna, for enriching us with your knowledge. I am feeling that I'm really full of PLM knowledge right now. And we'll probably connect with you again if we get more questions. We will do a live session with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you.